Our next speaker is an incredible woman, Victoria Rodriguez. Victoria Jenn Rodriguez is a career and life coach, brand strategist, and talent management consultant. She's a business mentor and an acclaimed international keynote speaker. As a strategic visionary thinker for 20 plus years of experience, she consults leaders on how to optimize performance while maintaining a focus on emotional intelligence, reflection, and a life balance. She is the founder of the Women Who Roar Club.com, of a coaching program that teaches women around the world how to be bold and how to take control of their lives. Victoria Jenn is the host of the wildly popular IGTV series, Women Who Roar.
Hola, mi gente. What is up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. Let me get a number 1 in the chat so I know people are alive. I know people are with me because I need to feed off of your energy. So I need everybody to drop a number 1 in the chat so we can get this party started. So today we're going to be talking about owning who you are and using your authenticity and cultural influences to triumph over imposter syndrome. Now, look, in order for us to actually receive the messaging from today's presentation, I want you to get emotionally ready for raw truths, okay? Because some of this stuff you might hear in today's presentation might trigger you, and that's a good thing because when we're triggered, we usually take action, we respond, all right? So I want to make sure that you are ready for this. I see the ones in the chat. I love it. I love it. All right, so we are emotionally ready for raw truths. Let's start with a story. So this is young Victoria Jenn here. This is at Lehman Brothers on Wall Street, my first job out of college. Now, an interesting thing happened when I started this job, all right? So first, I was the only Latina on the team. That's number 1. Number 2, I was also the youngest woman on the team, all right? So it was a very interesting place for me to be because I literally was in a space where I was the minority in the truest sense. And so one day, my broker asked me to look up a client. And the client's profile read as so. So I read this as Joel Epstein, right? So I go up to him and I'm like, hey, I got the account information for Joel Epstein. And he turned around, looked at me, and literally started laughing and then said super out loud, do you not know how to read, Victoria Jenn? This says Joel Epstein. And I looked at him like, excuse me, my cousin's name is Joel, and this is how he spells his name. So I don't know what you're talking about. But with him laughing and saying that so loud, literally the entire trading floor was laughing at me. And I was like, I walked my booty right back to this desk right here. I went on Google and I found an audio clip of how to say the word Joel, right? The name Joel, right? From the Latino culture. And I put the speakers all the way up. So literally, you see how big this trading floor is. Everybody could hear my speaker. And Google literally went out and said, Joel, spelled Joel. And I looked at the broker who was making fun of me, and immediately his smile turned into like, he felt very confused in that moment. And everybody on the trading floor got a little quiet, right? And so I said to him, I said, hey, listen, I never met a Joel Epstein and you clearly never met a Joel. So this is a learning opportunity for us. So let's both walk away from this. But 2 things could have happened in that moment, right? I could have, kind of got very discouraged, went back to my desk, put my head down, and kind of allowed the trading floor to laugh at me, right? But instead, I was like, you know what? No. We're going to use this as an opportunity to showcase my cultura and my culture, right? And also as a learning opportunity for both of us, right? And also gain my respect, honey, because you ain't going to try to shout me out, all right? And so I share this story with you because I'm pretty sure a lot of you can relate to these type of experiences, being the first one, being the only one, right? Being the most diverse, being, someone who stands out and doesn't look like everybody else, right? And so you find yourself in these moments where you might feel like, I don't know, I don't really fit in. And a lot of this has to do with our culture, right? So there is right now a Latino identity crisis, right? We are struggling with how to be American while holding on to our Latino roots. Our family influences are playing down our Latino culture to fit in, right? I don't know if any of you remember a time where your abuelo or your abuela or your distant tia would tell you, I know, don't speak Spanish at the office. I know, pull your hair back. You know they're not going to accept you, or that's not professional, right? Then we have, I'm too light skinned to be Latino. So people are telling me I'm whitewashed. What does that even mean? We have societal views, right? Immigration is cheap labor, all of the policy going on around immigration. And then, of course, we have our own internal complexities in the community about how do we identify? Do I say I'm Hispanic? Do I say I'm Latino? Am I Latinx? Am I Latine? Like, who am I? Why am I? So not only are we internally having a Latino identity crisis, but the outside world is trying to adapt to that as well. And as a result, we sometimes feel like an outcast. We feel like we don't belong because we are even unclear in our own identity, right? And when this happens, we start to feel like an imposter. We start to feel like we don't belong. So let's go over this definition of what imposter syndrome is really quickly. So it's a persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. So this is kind of like, the dictionary version of what this means. But in plain terms, essentially what it means is you forget about your badassery. You forget about all the sweat equity you put in. You forget about all the hard work that you put in order to be at that table, right? And so you kind of have like a memory lapse a little bit and you start feeling like an imposter. So let's talk about signs that you are experiencing imposter syndrome, because this term has become very popular as of late and people don't even realize that they've been experiencing imposter syndrome for years, honey. Okay. It's just now becoming a thing. So here are some common signs of this, right? You think I must not fail. If I fail, I'm a failure, right? I feel like a fraud, like somebody's going to get me. I don't really belong here. I just got lucky. I didn't work my butt to get into this door. Or success is no big deal. You play down your wins. You don't celebrate your wins, right? So these are some common signs. So let me see. Let me make sure people are alive in the chat. Excellent, excellent. I love it. All right. So here we have an amazing group of women, and there's something that they all share in common. Now, would you guys agree that all of these women are super successful? They got it going on, graceful. We see them and we think, wow. We see them and we think, I want to be like that. Or, wow, what they're doing is so admirable, right? So what all of these women have in common is recently, each of these women have publicly stated that now, in the height of their careers, they still experience imposter syndrome. So what does that tell you? What that should signal to you is that imposter syndrome is actually a very good thing to experience. Sometimes we hear syndrome and we automatically think negative. We automatically think sickness. We automatically think something is wrong with me. But I want to challenge you to understand that imposter syndrome only happens when you are stretching yourself, when you are making yourself uncomfortable, where you are experiencing new things. And what happens when we're uncomfortable? Let me give you an example. You know, when you go to the gym and you got a good workout and the next day you can't even sit on the toilet because your legs, because you was in there squatting, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. You know that soreness, right? But what does that indicate to you? It indicates that you actually put in work, right? And then little by little, you're going to see that little bump, behind there, right? So I want you to think about this in the same context when imposter syndrome, right, comes up. This is a good thing. This means that you are stretching. This means that you are continuing up the ladder of success, right? Because these ladies here, I think we can all agree, we would say they're in the height, right? They've achieved it. We got billionaires and millionaires up here, right? We got famous folks up here, right? Their name is synonymous with success. And yet they are experiencing imposter syndrome. So it is completely normal. And just so you guys know, 70% of people will experience at least 3 episodes of imposter syndrome in their lives. And for women and women of color, that number triples. All right. So it's very important for you to have a core understanding of what imposter syndrome is and isn't, so that you are able to slay it when it comes up. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So how do you actually slay imposter syndrome when it comes up in your life? So the first thing is remembering that you have the receipts, honey, okay? You put in work. You deserve to be where you are. And if you ever forget and you need a reminder, one of the things that I've done that has been super helpful is I created a brag slide. Now, this is my brag slide. This is every brand that I've ever worked with, all of my clients, and I put this slide together for 2 reasons. One, in case anybody tries to play me, I'm gonna show them the credibility. Okay, like listen here, I got the receipts, all right? I get work done, right? But most importantly, I did this for me, right? I did this to serve as a reminder for me, like, wow, I really came a long way. Like, wow, I really was able to like partner with these brands. So sometimes we need to remind ourselves again of our badassery, of our magic, of our essence, so that we can walk more confidently into spaces and not feel like a fraud and not feel like we don't belong to be there, because we're reminded of the work that we put in order to deserve that spot. Write in the chat, brag slide, so I can see you guys are with me. All right. So the second step here is let go of perfectionism. Y'all, we do this to ourselves. Tell me if you don't do. Listen, man, this is my motto. I'm going to share my motto with you guys. And this is it. Progress over perfection. Write this in the chat. Progress over perfection. Again, progress over perfection. So whenever you find yourself getting stressed out or having major anxiety because you feel like you need to be perfect, I want you to think about Victoria Jenn said, progress over perfection. Step 3, hard work, not luck. You put in the sweat equity. You put in the work. You deserve to be there. And the brag slide will help you to remind you, all right? So that you understand that you put in the hard work. And this is not because you're lucky, okay? This is not because you were Latina. This is not because you were a woman. This is because you have the intellect, you have the skill set, you have the emotional intelligence, and by far you have the gravitas, okay, to get it done, all right? Yes, I see it in the chat. Love it. Hard work, progress over perfection. Okay, so next, I want to share with you my imposter syndrome don't panic framework. And I'm moving fast, guys, here because I'm limited on time. So stay with me, okay? So the first part of the don't panic framework is self-awareness, right? And I want you to consider this framework whenever imposter syndrome comes up so you can work through it, all right? First step is self-awareness. You need to know when you feel imposter syndrome creeping in. Is it when you're about to give a big speech? Is it when you're about to go step into the boardroom? Is it when you're going to have a difficult conversation with a spouse, a colleague, a friend, right? Write down when you are experiencing imposter syndrome so that you can pay attention to the trends so that you know and can prepare prior to you going into that type of experience. You can prepare in advance, okay? Next, I want you to have a badassery committee. So Yvette Mayo is the founder of this amazing organization, Power on Heels, and she is on my badassery committee. I know I can call Yvette and she will pour into me. I know that I can call her and she will remind me of who I am, because we all forget sometimes because life takes over. We have challenges, and because we're human first and everything else second. So you need to have a crew of people. I suggest 5 to 6 people that are on your committee that you can call on whenever you need people to light the fire back in you, right? To remind you of who you are and why you are. Next, mirror real talk. All right. This is one of my favorite parts of the framework. And I want everybody to do this exercise with me. And this is an honor system. So I got to trust that you're doing it on your end. Okay. And this is it. I want you to repeat this affirmation. And if you have your phone, if you're by a mirror, this is even better. I want you to be able to look at yourself. But if not, totally fine. This is a practice that I want you to do in the morning and the evening. And I want you to do this for 15 days straight. And I guarantee you, you will start to see a shift in your mind and in your behavior on how confident and comfortable in your own skin you become. All right, so let's do a quick affirmation together. Repeat after me wherever you are in the world right now. Repeat after me. I am amazing. I am incredible. I have everything in me to make my dreams a reality, to respect myself, to set healthy boundaries, to love myself and others, to make the money that I deserve to break generational curses, and to live in my truth. Boom. It could be as simple as that. Or you can Google affirmations and whatever resonates with you. I encourage you to do this for 15 days consecutively in the morning, right? Before you start your day, and the evening before you go to bed, after you pray to God, whatever is your practice, right? And I guarantee you, you will start to feel more energetic and feel more powerful, right? Because we powerful in our heels, okay? All right, so the final part of our framework, celebrate wins. And when I say celebrate wins, I mean every win, honey. And that might be you making your bed in the morning because you know that's a stretch for you. That might be you going to the gym. That might be you closing a 6-figure deal. That might be you asking for a promotion. That might be you getting a raise. Celebrate all of your wins, regardless of how small or big you think they are. We need to celebrate ourselves more because when we celebrate our wins, it signals something to our brain that we are happy, that we are progressing, right? That we are moving forward, which is key when we are trying to mitigate imposter syndrome. So how to mitigate negative self-talk. So this is really a big one because a lot of people talk very negatively about themselves. Rita, I see you. Affirmations in the morning. Love affirmations. Love. Okay. So mitigating negative self-talk. Super important that we do this. So here are some quick tips for you. Remind yourself you are good at what you do. Confidence is your secret weapon. Talk about your feelings, visualize your success, control your mental, be kind to yourself, and seek support. Now, I'm going to fly through this section right here because I literally have like 3 minutes left, okay? So just to reiterate what's happening with Latinos, their biggest struggle is identity, especially in the corporate setting. So I want to encourage you to use your cultural influences to stand out at the office. And this is how. Our cultura, we love to entertain. We're a welcoming community. We want everyone to feel good and have a great time. So how do you translate that to the office? Also, we love family. We love to eat and we love to dance. This is me and my papi right here in the middle of the dance floor. This is what we do, right? This is in our culture. This is in our blood. So don't check that at the door. Bring that with you into the office. It will make you more comfortable and it will also allow people to engage and gravitate towards you. We take care of people. We show up for each other. Engagement equals respect and ambassadors. You want to engage the people at your office, your clients, your colleagues, wherever you are in your journey, right? You want people to engage with you. Next, we are resilient people. We are passionate and we don't give up. So remind yourself of this whenever something challenging comes up, personally or professionally. And last but not least, if you ever find yourself in like a moment where you feel unmotivated, you're burned out, you're just like, I just can't take it anymore. Create. When you create and you get things done, it triggers something in you, right? It motivates you. It inspires you to keep going because you are creating and you are getting things done. So quick V-Gems for you. This is how I like to summarize it. Own who you are and who you are not. Stand out. My motto is don't conform, create the norm. You can't complain when things are not working, when you are not working. It is your responsibility to educate. If you don't, you're part of the problem. Be vulnerable, AKA relatable. And most importantly, the world needs the special gifts you have to offer. So don't keep them all to yourself. Okay, so here, I want you to take a screenshot of this. I want you to jot this down, whatever you need to do. But for those of you who are watching me and you're like, damn, like this is amazing. I would love to consult. I would love to present. I would love to be a speaker. So my story is, after 15 years in corporate, 4 years ago, I launched my own business. And now I get to do what I love, which is train and develop women all around the world to live in their boldness, in their magic. So I have a free training for anybody who is looking to transition from corporate hustler to successful entrepreneur with ease, even if you're unclear on what type of business to start and have only one source of income. So the way that you access this free training, the website is right here, victoriajen.com/training. You have all my contact information here. So follow me, engage with me. Let's become a part of each other's communities. Take the training. It is free, y'all. And thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been a pleasure, and enjoy the rest of your experience today. Besitos.